Sunlight pierces the crest of a rolling sapphire wave, shattering into a million dancing diamonds of light that drift slowly down, down, down into the endless tranquil blue. Imagine the sheer weightlessness of the water, cool and embracing, wrapping around your entire form like a soft, heavy velvet blanket. The deeper you go, the softer the light becomes, fading from a brilliant, sparkling cerulean at the surface to a deep, calming, twilight indigo as you descend. The harsh edges of the world are smoothed away by the current. Here, the chaotic noise of the world above is completely washed away, erased by the immense, quiet volume of the sea. It is replaced only by the gentle, rhythmic pulse of the ocean's steady heartbeat, a low, resonant hum that vibrates against your skin, encouraging every muscle in your body to completely and utterly relax. You're drifting, supported, floating in a vast expanse of pure liquid peace. You do not need to try to remember the secrets of this underwater realm. Your subconscious mind is a vast, boundless library, its quiet shelves stretching infinitely into the soothing dark. It will absorb these truths, these gentle whispers of the deep, while you rest. There is no test to pass, no effort required, no need to focus. Just let go. Allow the slow, heavy currents of these words to carry you, lifting the weight from your weary muscles, smoothing the tension from your brow, and drifting you ever closer to deep, restorative slumber. Breathe in the cool, imaginary sea air, and let the ocean do the work. As we drift deeper into this indigo twilight, a shape materializes from the soft shadows, a silhouette of absolute, uncompromised grace. The skin of the dolphin is a masterclass in fluid dynamics, a marvel of nature that feels as smooth as wet, heavy silk. It is a breathtaking tapestry of silver and charcoal, gleaming with an iridescent, pearlescent sheen that catches the faint, scattered rays of filtered sunlight. But this smoothness is not static. It is an active, living process. Every single inch of their body is in a state of constant, quiet renewal, shedding their entire outer layer of skin cells every 2 hours. This perpetual shedding acts as a microscopic lubricant, allowing them to maintain an impossibly frictionless glide through the dense water. It is a beautiful state of continuous rebirth, gracefully leaving behind the old to move effortlessly and beautifully through the new. And just as they glide seamlessly through the physical water, they also glide through the invisible boundaries between waking and deep rest. When a dolphin surrenders to sleep, they do not fall completely into the dark as we do. Instead, they engage in a mesmerizing process known as unihemispheric slow-wave sleep. One entire half of their complex brain descends into a profound, restorative slumber, the brainwaves slowing to a rhythmic, heavy crawl, while the other hemisphere remains perfectly peacefully awake. A single, dark eye remains open, keeping a quiet, tranquil watch over the blue expanse, a gentle guardian ensuring complete safety, while the other eye closes heavy with rest, allowing the soothing tides of dreams to wash over the sleeping half of their mind. They float near the surface like quiet shadows, a state called logging, perfectly balanced between the waking world and the realm of dreams. This watchful, divided rest is an absolute necessity because, unlike the automatic, involuntary rise and fall of our chests as we sleep, every single breath a dolphin takes is a conscious, deliberate thought. They are voluntary breathers, forever tied to the rhythm of the air. Their resting minds must constantly, quietly whisper the command to tilt their heads, to gently break the shimmering surface of the water, to forcefully exhale in a glittering diamond-like mist, and to draw in the cool, salty, life-giving air. Even in their absolute deepest moments of relaxation, there is a gentle, steady, unbroken intention to simply breathe, creating a slow, rhythmic connection between the dark, quiet depths below and the starlit world above the waves. As they navigate this shadowy twilight world, gently rising and falling, they do not rely on the fading light. Instead, they see the universe with sound. Deep within their smooth, sloping foreheads sits a rounded, fatty organ known as the melon, a biological lens that focuses a narrow beam of high-frequency sound waves out into the dark, heavy water. They emit a series of rapid, rhythmic clicks, a gentle, percussive symphony that ripples outward at incredible speeds. These invisible, vibrating waves caress the ocean floor, wrap around the intricate structures of coral reefs, and dance through swaying emerald kelp forests, before bouncing back to paint a highly detailed, intensely vivid, three-dimensional picture directly into the dolphin's mind. It is a way of touching the world from afar, feeling the textures and shapes of the ocean through the physical sensation of sound. But they do not hear these returning echoes through traditional ears on the sides of their heads. The water is too dense, the acoustics too complex. Instead, the returning sound vibrations are delicately caught by their lower jawbone. This elongated, hollow bone is filled with a specialized acoustic fat that acts as a highly sensitive biological antenna. It captures the returning whispers of the deep, the faint echoes of the clicks, and channels them directly up into their inner ear. It is a profound, entirely full-body form of listening. They literally feel the shape, the density, and the distance of the world around them vibrating through the very bones of their face, an incredibly intimate connection to the vastness of their aquatic home. Among these echoing clicks and the vast vibrating maps of the ocean, there exists a much softer, deeply personal music. Every single dolphin develops a completely unique, highly melodic trill within the first few months of their life, a beautiful sequence of notes known as a signature whistle. It is, quite simply, their name, beautifully sung into the endless water. A mother will repeat her specific whistle over and over to her calf, teaching them the sound of her soul. They use these beautiful trills to introduce themselves to strangers in the dark, to call out softly to lost friends across vast distances, and they carry this beautiful, solitary, identifying melody with them for their entire long lives. It is a hauntingly beautiful sound that echoes through the currents, a musical declaration saying, "I am here, I am safe, drifting in the vastness." This deeply personal song is the invisible thread that beautifully weaves them together into a flowing, synchronized tapestry of life called a pod. They are almost rarely alone, preferring the deep comfort of community. As they glide through the blue, they swim closely side by side, their smooth silver pectoral fins gently brushing against one another, in a constant display of silent comfort and deep, reassuring affection. This physical touch releases waves of oxytocin, deepening their bonds. In the dim, calming light, you can watch them moving in perfect, intuitive synchrony, a slow, fluid ballet of magnificent bodies. They share the ocean's massive expanse not as solitary individuals, but as a deeply interwoven family, bound together by mutual trust, soft songs, and gentle touch. When they turn their sleek heads to look at one another, their vision is as beautifully expansive as the surrounding ocean itself. With their dark, expressive eyes situated on opposite sides of their heads, they possess nearly complete, uninterrupted panoramic vision. They can simultaneously see what is gliding gently beside them, what is drifting silently behind them, and the shifting patterns of light dancing far above them. To aid them in the fading light of the deep ocean, their eyes contain a special mirror-like layer called the tapetum lucidum, which catches and reflects even the faintest glimmer of bioluminescence or moonlight, causing their eyes to softly glow in the dark. It is a broad, sweeping, utterly peaceful perspective, effortlessly taking in the entire sweeping canvas of their tranquil world all at once. Should the harshness of the ocean currents, or the jagged edges of a hidden reef, ever leave a mark on that smooth, sweeping canvas, their bodies possess a quiet, miraculous, and almost unbelievable resilience. Beneath their shedding skin lies a thick layer of blubber, the dense, warm, insulating fat that perfectly shields them from the freezing depths. This blubber is extraordinarily rich with powerful innate healing properties. Should they be injured, they do not bleed continuously. Instead, the blubber immediately constricts, and powerful antimicrobial compounds naturally present in their body. Fat prevent any infection. Deep wounds knit back together with astonishing rapid speed, regenerating tissue flawlessly, eventually leaving completely smooth silver-grey skin where once there was trauma. It is an innate, silent, effortless healing. A profound testament to the soothing, restorative power held safely within their very form. And when they are utterly whole, completely safe, and full of vibrant life, they surrender themselves to pure, uncomplicated, joyful play. In the quiet, sun-dappled depths, they slowly exhale highly precise, delicate streams of air from their blowholes, crafting intricate, perfectly circular silver bubble rings. These magnificent shifting halos, known as toroidal vortices, shimmer and flex as they slowly ascend toward the light of the surface. The dolphins watch these glowing, spinning rings rise, gracefully swimming through the center of them, playfully spinning them with their smooth snouts, or gently biting them to watch them shatter into 1,000 tiny, sparkling, ascending pearls. It is a moment of pure, effortless joy and profound tranquility, drifting slowly up toward the warm light, leaving a beautiful trail of sparkling, ascending rings, fading slowly in their gentle wake. The delicate spheres of air dissolve into the infinite expanse of the ocean above, mirroring the vast, complex and beautiful inner universe held safely within the dolphin's mind. If you could see the architecture of their thoughts, it would look like a magnificent blooming coral reef, rich with intricate folds and deep sweeping valleys. Their brain, a physical marvel that is even larger and heavier than our own, possesses a deeply folded neocortex. This magnificent blossoming flower of neural pathways is the soft, quiet seat of their profound emotional depth. A place where complex feelings ripple and flow just like the gentle, warm currents that caress their silver skin. They feel deeply, love profoundly, and experience their shimmering aquatic world with a rich, vibrant emotional intelligence that rivals any creature walking upon the sunlit earth. An intelligence that is completely at peace with itself and its surroundings. The texture of this profound thought leads us gently down, away from the glittering surface, to the soft, shifting white sands of the ocean floor, where a different kind of brilliant intelligence is quietly at work. In the dappled golden-green light of shallow protected bays, the water dances with the shadows of swaying kelp. Here, some of these brilliant minds reach out to touch the earth itself. They carefully, deliberately detach soft, conical sea sponges from the rocky seabed, gently and precisely fitting these porous, fibrous cups over their sensitive rostrums, their delicate beaks. This is not mere play, but a beautifully passed down tradition, a soft shield woven from the ocean's own living fabric. With this gentle armour, they can safely forage through the sharp, abrasive coral and hidden stones, feeling for hidden nourishment without ever scratching their perfectly smooth, flawless skin. An ancient, quiet wisdom, whispered softly from mother to daughter across generations of dappled light. And as this ancient knowledge settles deep within your own quiet mind, your breathing naturally slows, your chest rising and falling in perfect, effortless harmony with the rhythmic tides. While the light fades in these shallow golden bays, it brightens in the invisible, vibrating spectrum of sound. When a dolphin sends out its rhythmic, clicking song to illuminate the dark water, the sound waves do far more than just trace the outside of things. Because the dense, heavy water and biological tissue share a beautifully similar density, these vibrating pulses pass effortlessly, like ghosts through soft flesh, revealing the hidden, elegant architecture within. They can see the hollow, delicate scaffolding of fish skeletons hiding silently beneath the sand. They can peer gently into the bodies of their companions, sensing the steady, calming beat of another heart, or the curled, perfect form of a new life waiting to be born. It is a world of gentle, profound transparency, where nothing is truly hidden and everything is intimately, peacefully understood. Drifting beyond the visible and the hidden, they are also deeply connected to the invisible, silent pulse of the planet itself. The Earth, a giant spinning sphere of iron and stone, hums with a vast invisible magnetic field, wrapping the globe in an imperceptible protective embrace. Buried deep within the soft, heavy tissues of the dolphin's beautiful brain are microscopic, glittering crystals of magnetite. These tiny biological compass needles pull gently against the magnetic lines of the globe, providing an innate, unwavering, and deeply comforting sense of direction. Even in the absolute lightless void of the midnight zone, without a single star or shimmering sunbeam to guide them, they always know exactly where they are. They follow the invisible, glowing, magnetic rivers of the world, gliding perfectly along the silent, shifting meridians of the deep, forever anchored to the gentle, spinning heart of the earth. Following these silent, invisible rivers down, further down into the cooler, heavier dark, a profound calmness washes over their entire physical form. As they descend away from the warmth of the sun, the immense comforting pressure of the deep ocean embraces them like a heavy, weighted blanket. To conserve their precious breath in this tranquil abyss, their body initiates a quiet, miraculous reflex known as bradycardia. Their large, powerful heart, which beats with an energetic, joyful rhythm at the surface, begins to purposefully, peacefully slow its pace. From a vibrant, rapid flutter, it transitions down to an incredibly slow, deliberate and rhythmic thump, thump, thump. Sometimes it beats only a handful of times every minute. This incredible, heavy slowing down mirrors the deepening quiet of your own resting body, a shared biological surrender to complete, total and profound peace. And as their heartbeat slows, embracing the heavy velvet dark, your own muscles loosen. Your mind drifts deeper into a state of pure, weightless relaxation. In these silent, crushing depths, the very structure of their body adapts with breathtaking grace. To protect themselves from the immense, unimaginable weight of the water column above, their flexible rib cages are brilliantly designed to simply, gently fold inward. Their lungs, holding the precious air from the surface, harmlessly collapse, safely storing the life-giving gases away from their bloodstream to completely prevent the dangerous bubbling of nitrogen. It is an act of ultimate biological yielding. They do not fight the crushing pressure of the abyss. They harmonize with it, becoming as fluid, soft, and adaptable as the water itself, perfectly safe and perfectly protected in the most extreme, quiet environments on Earth. Rising slowly, effortlessly from the crushing dark, drifting back toward the shimmering, scattered light of the pelagic zone, we discover that their experience of the world is shaped by smooth, unbroken motions. When they feed on the silver, flashing schools of fish that dart like liquid mercury through the sapphire blue, they do not chew. Their mouths are lined with row upon row of perfectly uniform conical teeth, but these are solely for gently, securely catching their shimmering, slippery prizes. They swallow their nourishment completely whole, head first, allowing the fish to slide smoothly and perfectly down their throats without resistance. Because of this beautifully streamlined process, their sense of taste is wonderfully simplified. They do not need to savor bitterness or sweetness. Instead, their taste receptors are perfectly attuned to the subtle chemical trails in the water, allowing them to literally taste the presence of life drifting on the slow, heavy ocean currents. This sensitive chemical connection to the water around them expands into a vast, overarching empathy that beautifully transcends their own kind. The ocean is a vast, sometimes unforgiving expanse, but the dolphin acts as its gentle, watchful, and compassionate guardian. There are countless beautiful stories whispered on the ocean breezes of dolphins coming to the aid of entirely different, unfamiliar species. They have been known to carefully, purposefully lift exhausted swimmers to the shimmering surface so they might breathe the sweet air. They have formed protective, circling shields around vulnerable, sleeping whales. They have guided lost, disoriented seals back to the safety of the shallow, sunlit reefs. Their profound emotional intelligence extends a wing of pure, altruistic compassion to any creature struggling in the blue, a living testament to a heart that is as vast, deep, and unconditionally loving as the ocean it inhabits. Let the warmth of this universal compassion wash over you, feeling every last trace of tension dissolve into the gentle, receding tide. Echoing this silent connection to all mammals, there is a fleeting, deeply endearing secret hidden in the very first delicate days of a dolphin's life. When a tiny, perfectly formed calf is first born into the warm, sun-dappled shallows, they are not completely, perfectly smooth. Along their soft, delicate rostrum they possess a few fine, translucent strands of hair. Tiny, sensitive whiskers, much like those of a creature that sleeps on the earth. These delicate silken threads fall away within a few short days, naturally returning them to their perfectly sleek hydrodynamic form, but those tiny invisible follicles remain. A soft biological whisper of their ancient evolutionary past, a time when their ancestors walked upon the warm, sun-baked shores before slowly returning to the embrace of the sea. From the delicate, fleeting moments of birth, we trace the long, elegant and sweeping arc of their lives, a journey that stretches across decades of golden sunrises and silver, shimmering moons. As the years gently, quietly pass, they do not merely survive, they age with a profound, quiet dignity that commands respect. In certain, deeply connected pods, the older, wiser females, the revered grandmothers of the ocean, take on a beautifully essential guiding role. Long after they have finished bringing their own calves into the world, they become the silent, steadfast keepers of knowledge. They guide the pod to the safest, most hidden, crystalline reefs. They remember the ancient, shifting migratory paths through the trackless blue. They gently babysit the newest, most playful generation in calm, shallow waters, allowing the younger, tired mothers a precious moment of peaceful, undisturbed rest. They are the living memory of the sea, their smooth, beautifully scarred skin, a magnificent map of a life perfectly lived in the endless, tranquil blue. From the silver, gently scarred maps of the ocean's grandmothers, we drift slowly inward, carried by a soft, invisible tide that flows from the boundless blue into the lush, beating heart of the terrestrial world. The cool, salty tang of the open sea slowly yields to the rich, earthy warmth of ancient flooded rainforests. Here, beneath a thick, breathing canopy of vibrating emerald leaves, thick shafts of golden late afternoon sunlight pierce the heavy, humid air. They paint the surface of the slow-moving river in deep, mesmerizing hues of liquid amber and rich, polished bronze. Gliding silently through this tea-coloured mystical water is a vision that seems pulled directly from the softest, most ethereal of dreams. The Amazon River dolphin moves with a languid, quiet grace. Their skin is not the cool, reflective silver of their oceanic cousins, but rather a beautiful, soft, blooming blush of pale pink. This magnificent rosy hue deepens and shifts as they exert themselves, a flush of vibrant, living colour beneath the dark, reflecting canopy, glowing like a submerged, aquatic rose gently navigating the quiet, shadowed world. The texture of this blushing, rosy light guides us deeper into the tangled, submerged architecture of the flooded forest floor, where giant, moss-draped roots twist and weave like the gnarled fingers of sleeping giants. To beautifully navigate this dense wooden labyrinth, these river dwellers possess a remarkable, entirely unique physical freedom. Unlike the sleek, rigid bodies of the dolphins in the open sea, whose neck vertebrae are tightly, permanently fused for high-speed, torpedo-like swimming, The river dolphin's neck bones remain completely, wonderfully unfused. This delicate internal separation allows them to turn their long, highly sensitive snouts fluidly from side to side, gently up and down, bending at completely sharp angles to peer behind submerged trunks and investigate hollow, sunken logs. They weave through the claustrophobic underwater forest with the slow, deliberate flexibility of a waterborne serpent, their soft pink bodies curving beautifully through the amber shadows without ever touching a single sleeping branch. Drifting away from the warm, enclosed embrace of the rainforest canopy, we are pulled gently back toward the vast, dramatic contrasts of the open ocean, where the amber waters clear into a startling, icy, crystalline clarity. In this bracing, limitless expanse we find the undisputed king of the dolphin family, a creature of awe-inspiring power and breathtaking architectural beauty. Though commonly called a whale, the orca is in truth the largest, most magnificent dolphin to grace the endless seas. Their massive bodies are a stunning, high-contrast masterpiece of obsidian black and snow-blind ivory, a perfect living balance cutting cleanly through the sapphire waves. This striking, bold coloration is not merely decorative, it is a masterclass in disruptive camouflage, a brilliant illusion that breaks up their massive outline in the flickering, refracted light of the ocean's surface. They move with the heavy, undeniable weight of apex guardians, yet they possess the exact same playful, intelligent, and deeply social soul as the smallest silver spinner dolphin, ruling their icy, shimmering realms with a profound, coordinated grace. And as this knowledge settles, sinking like a heavy, perfectly smooth stone into the deep, quiet waters of your mind, your breathing slows even further. Your chest rising and falling in perfect, effortless harmony with the slow, undulating rhythm of these massive, beautiful creatures. In the quiet spaces between their graceful movements, the ocean is filled with the echoes of a profound, listening intelligence. Dolphins are not just singers of their own unique names, they are absolute masters of acoustic imitation. Their complex, beautifully folded brains possess a rare, extraordinary talent known as vocal learning. They can actively listen to the novel, unfamiliar sounds echoing through their liquid environment, and meticulously, flawlessly recreate them. A dolphin can hear the strange rhythmic whir of a passing boat engine or the alien digital chirp of a submerged scientific instrument, and playfully, perfectly mimic that exact vibration, folding the strange foreign sounds of the human world into their own rich, underwater vocabulary. It is a stunning, joyful display of cognitive flexibility, a beautiful mind that delights in catching the auditory world and flawlessly reflecting it back. Echoing this joyful, playful mimicry is their absolute unbridled love for the simple, thrilling physics of movement. They do not only swim to hunt or to travel vast distances, they swim to feel the sheer, intoxicating rush of the heavy water sliding flawlessly over their perfectly smooth skin. When the ocean swells, building massive rolling hills of deep blue energy, dolphins will deliberately seek out the breaking crests. They align their sleek silver bodies perfectly within the invisible sweet spot of the rushing wave, allowing the immense hidden power of the ocean to catch them and propel them forward at exhilarating, breathtaking speeds. They surf the majestic rolling bow wakes of massive migrating whales and the churning pressure waves of slow-travelling ships, effortlessly hitching a ride on the moving water, suspended entirely in a state of pure, weightless glide. They twist, they leap, they ride the invisible currents of energy solely for the profound, bubbling joy of play. A beautiful celebration of life, perfectly balanced on the rushing, foamy edge of the sea. The kinetic energy of the crashing waves slowly dissipates, melting beautifully into the perfectly still, glass-like surface of shallow, sun-warmed tidal flats. Here, the water is a pale, translucent turquoise, resting gently over a vast bed of soft silken mud. In these quiet, protected shallows, a solitary dolphin begins a mesmerizing solitary dance. Swimming in a perfect tightening circle, they strike their powerful flukes downward, purposefully disturbing the soft sleeping silt below. Plume by plume, a thick billowing curtain of golden brown mud rises through the clear water, forming a perfect expanding ring, a beautiful temporary wall drawn in the water itself. As the circular trap tightens, the fish inside leap instinctively into the bright air to escape the closing curtain, only to fall perfectly, gently into the waiting mouths of the rest of the waiting pod. It is a breathtaking display of geometry and cooperation. A masterpiece of ephemeral aquatic art, designed with a brilliant calculating mind and executed with the sweeping, graceful strokes of a master painter. As the golden mud settles softly back to the quiet ocean floor, we feel a gentle, inescapable pull toward the profound, mysterious trenches that silently scar the ocean's ancient bedrock. While many dolphins bask in the sunlit, glittering shallows, there are those who are drawn entirely to the immense, crushing solitude of the true abyss. Species like the Risso's dolphin, with their beautifully scarred, ghostly white skin, point their blunt, rounded heads downward and descend into the absolute enveloping dark. They leave the warmth of the sun far behind, diving down thousands of feet into a hidden world where the water is freezing and the pressure is unimaginably heavy. Here, in the lightless void, they hunt the glowing, bioluminescent squid that drift like tiny fallen stars in the silent midnight zone. To endure this incredibly hostile environment, their blood is uniquely, heavily saturated with oxygen-storing myoglobin, turning their powerful muscles almost black. They become ethereal creatures of the deep, silent and heavy, perfectly adapted to hold their breath for breathtaking stretches of time, fully surrendering to the crushing, peaceful embrace of the oceanic night. And as you imagine this slow, heavy descent into the quiet dark, your own body feels a comforting, profound heaviness, sinking deeper into the soft, supportive surface beneath you, every muscle letting go of its final, stubborn hold. In the quiet aftermath of these monumental deep dives, even the masters of the abyss must eventually seek the restorative, gentle embrace of sleep. But in the vast, open ocean, true safety is found not in hiding, but in perfect, unified motion. When dolphins sleep, gliding slowly with one eye open and one half of their mind deeply resting, they often do so in beautifully bonded pairs. A mother and her calf, or two lifelong companions, will align their breathing and their swimming strokes perfectly, moving together as one single, seamless organism. This beautiful, synchronized sleep pattern creates a subtle, supportive slipstream. The sleeping calf can effortlessly ride the hydrodynamic wake of its mother, requiring almost zero physical effort to keep moving forward. They are cradled entirely by the gentle motion of the other, a physical manifestation of absolute trust and deep, restful surrender in the endless blue. The sensation of this smooth, effortless gliding draws our attention closely back to the beautiful, tactile surface of their skin. To the naked human eye, the dolphin's form appears as flawless and polished as a piece of wet, sculpted silver glass. But if you were to run your hand, with the gentlest, softest touch, along their flanks, you would feel a microscopic texture that beautifully defies their glassy appearance. Their skin is not perfectly flat. It is covered in millions of infinitesimally small, parallel dermal ridges, much like the delicate looping grooves of a human fingerprint. These microscopic, beautifully engineered channels run the entire length of their bodies. As they power quietly through the water, these tiny grooves beautifully and effectively channel the flow of the ocean, breaking up microscopic eddies and drastically reducing the drag that would otherwise hold them back. It is a stunning, silent engineering marvel woven directly into their very flesh, allowing them to slice through the dense, heavy water with the impossible, frictionless grace of a shadow gently falling across the white sand. This microscopic, silent perfection serves a single, vital purpose: to sustain and seamlessly propel the beautiful, fragile continuum of life. In the vast, cool expanse of the ocean, a newborn calf faces a massive world that quickly drains its precious tiny body heat. To combat this freezing expanse, the nourishment a mother softly provides is nothing short of a biological miracle. Dolphin milk is not like the thin, watery sustenance of terrestrial mammals. It is an incredibly rich, thick, heavy cream, sometimes consisting of nearly 40% pure insulating fat. When a tiny calf nudges its mother to feed underwater, she purposefully ejects this dense, paste-like milk directly into her baby's mouth, ensuring that not a single, precious drop is lost to the surrounding salty seawater. This incredibly rich, heavy nourishment acts as an instant internal fire, rapidly building the vital, thick layer of blubber the calf needs to survive the cold depths. It is a heavy, concentrated transfer of pure life and warmth, an unbroken liquid bond of pure love, flowing softly from mother to child in the endless, deep blue cradle of the sea. The rich, heavy warmth of this concentrated nourishment, sinking perfectly and peacefully into the calf's belly, brings us gently to the hidden, internal chambers where this life-giving alchemy takes place. When we humans consume a heavy, warm, satisfying meal, a deep, comforting lethargy washes over us, a profound feeling of complete satisfaction that invites our eyes to close and our bodies to seek deep, restful sleep. The dolphin experiences this profound, internal peace through a magnificent, beautifully complex digestive system. The dolphin does not break down its food in a single, simple cavern. Much like the peaceful, slow-moving grazing animals of the sunlit terrestrial plains, the gentle cows and the resting deer, the dolphin possesses an intricate, multi-chambered stomach. The very first chamber acts as a vast, welcoming storeroom, safely holding the whole, unchewed silver fish they have swallowed in the cool dark. The second chamber is the true acidic hearth, where the slow, quiet, internal fire of digestion gently breaks down the bounty of the sea. And the final, beautifully folded chamber is a gentle, regulating passage, ensuring every single drop of vital energy is perfectly absorbed into their bloodstream. This slow, grazing internal rhythm is a beautiful biological echo of a time long forgotten in the shifting sands of the earth. If we could gently peel back the heavy velvet curtain of millions of years, gazing deep into the quiet dawn of their existence, we would not find the dolphins' ancient ancestors swimming effortlessly in the deep blue. We would find them walking, heavy and grounded, upon the warm, sun-baked earth. They were ancient, four-legged creatures, closely, intimately related to the even-toed ungulates that gently tread the quiet forests and rolling plains today. Over an unimaginable, sweeping expanse of time, as the warm, inviting shallow seas crept slowly over the shifting land, these grounded creatures slowly, peacefully returned to the embrace of the water. Their heavy, weight-bearing hooves softened, flattened, and beautifully elongated, slowly transforming into the sleek, masterful pectoral fins that now carve flawlessly through the deep tides. It is a stunning, silent journey of transformation, a perfect reminder that the rigid, heavy forms of our past can always soften and adapt, flowing effortlessly into a beautiful, weightless new existence. As the solid, unforgiving earth gave way entirely to the buoyant, holding water, their very physical form shifted to beautifully meet the shimmering sky. The most vital connection they have to the waking world, their precious life-giving breath, required a profound, incredibly slow migration. Over countless generations of swimming in the sunlit shallows, the nostrils that once sat at the very tip of their long, sensitive snouts began to slowly, seamlessly travel upward, migrating millimetre by microscopic millimetre across the sloping landscape of their skull until they reached the absolute highest peak of their crown. This beautiful evolved architecture is the blowhole, a perfectly sealed, incredibly powerful muscular valve that acts as their new, ascended nose. It allows them to barely break the glassy, shimmering surface of the water to draw in the sweet, cool air, while the rest of their heavy, resting body remains safely, completely submerged in the deep. It is a quiet, upward reaching for the stars, a profound structural perfection that connects the crushing depths below to the infinite airy sky above. And as this deep, ancient, millions of years old history settles smoothly into your own resting bones, your breathing slows down even further, your chest rising and falling with the exact same effortless, automatic, rhythmic ease of a sleeping tide. With their nose beautifully migrating to the crown of their head to become a specialized watertight airlock, the entire world of terrestrial scent gently, peacefully slipped away from them. Dolphins do not possess the olfactory nerves required to process smell. The rich, salty tang of the sea breeze, the scent of the blooming algae in the warming currents, or the petrichor of distant rolling ocean rainstorms are entirely invisible to their senses. It is a profound biological letting go, a beautiful, necessary release of unnecessary information to achieve absolute focused mastery over the senses that truly matter in the dense, heavy water. They do not smell the ocean. They release that desire completely, choosing instead to feel it, to hear it, and to peacefully become one with its heavy, shifting weight. Though they cannot smell the salty mist that hangs heavily over the breaking, foam-capped waves, their dark, soulful eyes must constantly, endlessly bathe in it. To protect their incredibly delicate vision from the abrasive, stinging salt of the endless sea, they do not cry the thin, watery, fleeting tears that we do. Instead, the dolphin's beautifully dark eyes secrete a continuous, thick, jelly-like substance, a specialized viscous tear that acts as an incredibly smooth, heavy, protective shield. It coats the entire curved surface of their eye in a soothing, highly lubricated balm, effortlessly washing away microscopic, sharp grains of drifting sand and perfectly shielding their gaze from the stinging brine. It is a constant, gentle weeping of pure, absolute protection, a slow, heavy tear that carries no sorrow, only the deep, profound comfort of safety, allowing them to stare flawlessly and peacefully into the salt-heavy currents with absolute, undisturbed clarity. Behind these heavily shielded, beautifully protected eyes lies a profound, recognizing awareness that burns like a quiet, steady, eternal flame in the dark water. When a dolphin looks into a highly reflective surface, or encounters a mirrored pane of glass slipped gently into the research pools of the world, they do not see a stranger or a rival looking back at them. They possess the incredibly rare, highly advanced, and deeply beautiful cognitive ability of mirror self-recognition. They will twist their sleek silver bodies, turn their heads to striking, magnificent angles, and carefully, quietly examine temporary marks placed gently on their own skin. They look into the glass and fully, completely understand that the reflection is their own magnificent form looking back. It is a stunning, beautiful realization of the self, a quiet internal voice whispering through the water, "I am here," perfectly reflected in the shimmering silent glass of their aquatic world. This deep, profound, and peaceful sense of self requires an internal architecture of thought that is just as intricate and beautifully structured. In quiet, sun-dappled lagoons where humans and dolphins gently interact, scientists have discovered that the dolphin's mind does not just understand simple, isolated words or basic flat signs. They can effortlessly, brilliantly grasp the highly complex, invisible, mathematical architecture of grammar and syntax. If they are softly instructed through underwater gestures to bring the hoop to the ball, they will glide through the water and perform the exact, elegant task perfectly. But if the exact same gestures are reversed to bring the ball to the hoop, their brilliant, heavy minds instantly understand the structural shift in meaning and they beautifully reverse their actions. It is the breathtaking ability to understand the complex order of the universe, piecing together the shifting, interlocking puzzles of abstract thought with absolute, effortless, fluid grace, as you marvel at the sheer, crystalline architecture of their brilliant minds. Feel the lingering tension in your own shoulders gently, warmly dissolve, melting away entirely into the soft, supportive surface beneath you. This brilliant structural understanding bridges the gap not only between abstract concepts, but between entirely different, breathing worlds. On the golden, twilight-drenched shores of Laguna, Brazil, a breathtaking, silent treaty has existed for generations between the wild dolphins of the murky sea and the wading humans of the land. The dolphins deliberately, carefully herd thick, flashing schools of silver mullet toward the shallow, muddy beaches. Then, with a perfectly timed, forceful, explosive slap of their head or tail against the surface, they signal the waiting human fishermen to cast their heavy, hand-woven nets. The falling nets trap the majority of the fish, and the sudden, chaotic wall of mesh sends the remaining panicked mullet darting directly backward into the dolphins' waiting, open mouths. It is a masterpiece of cross-species harmony, a silent, perfectly choreographed dance of mutual trust, moving beautifully together in the fading amber light of the setting sun. When the heavy nets are pulled safely away, and the quiet, undisturbed, rhythmic peace returns to the dark shallows, their brilliant minds turn effortlessly from the architecture of survival back to the pure, tactile, innocent joy of play. They are creatures that deeply, profoundly love the physical sensation of their watery world. In the swaying, emerald-green forests of giant, towering kelp that reach for the distant sun, they will carefully pluck a single, long, silken frond from the rocky seabed. They drape this smooth green ribbon across their dorsal fin, or trail it delicately, beautifully from their pectoral flippers, swimming in slow, elegant, hypnotic circles through the dappled light. They pass the kelp back and forth to their closest companions, turning a simple piece of drifting seaweed into a cherished, beautifully shared toy. It is a soft, gentle, slow-motion game of catch, an innocent celebration of the smooth textures and slow, heavy currents of their vibrant underwater garden. The swaying green fronds of the kelp forest beautifully blur the visual lines between one patch of the deep and another, just as the magnificent, forgiving, endless ocean beautifully blurs the lines between its many varied families, because the genetic tapestry of the oceanic dolphin world is so intricately, beautifully and closely woven. The rigid, scientific boundaries of species sometimes melt away entirely into the blue. In rare, breathtaking moments of deep connection, entirely different species of the dolphin family will come together to create entirely new, beautiful life. The most famous and stunning of these is the wholefin, a magnificent, perfect living blending of a sleek silver bottlenose dolphin and a massive, dark, heavily built false killer whale. The resulting calf is a stunning, exact biological middle ground. Their size, their beautiful charcoal coloration, and even the exact mathematical number of their sharp teeth are a flawless, perfect average of their two distinct parents. It is the ultimate, profound expression of unity in the deep, a gentle, heavy, peaceful reminder that in the vast, endless, dark blue expanse, everything is intimately, flawlessly, and beautifully connected. The profound expression of unity in the deep, the beautiful living blending of entirely different families in the endless blue, radiates a profound, sustaining internal warmth into the vast, cooling ocean. To maintain this inner, vital fire while swimming gracefully through the freezing sapphire depths, their perfectly smooth bodies are miracles of thermal engineering. Their sleek pectoral flippers and their broad, sweeping tail flukes are flat and completely exposed to the icy currents. Yet they do not freeze. Hidden just beneath the sleek surface of these extremities is a miraculous biological heating system. a countercurrent heat exchange. The thick arteries carrying hot, vibrant blood from their heavy, resting heart are perfectly, intimately wrapped by a delicate network of veins returning cold blood from the skin. As the fluids flow in opposite directions, the heat is beautifully, flawlessly transferred, warming the cold blood before it ever reaches their vital core, and cooling the warm blood before its heat can be stolen by the sea. It is a closed, perfect loop of internal fire, a silent, rhythmic engine of warmth that allows them to glide completely unfazed through the most chilling, shadowed waters of the globe. The texture of this warm, flowing blood brings us gently to the profound, almost impossible mystery of the water itself. The ocean is an endless, majestic expanse of liquid, a world entirely defined by wetness, yet the dolphin exists within it without ever deliberately drinking a single, salty drop. The surrounding seawater is incredibly heavy with salt, a mineral density that would quickly disrupt their delicate, beautiful internal balance. Instead of drinking the sea, they extract their vital, sweet hydration entirely from the shimmering silver fish and soft-bodied squid they consume in the dark. Their beautiful, perfectly adapted bodies act as masterful biological distillers, unlocking the hidden, pure fresh water trapped safely within the cells of their nourishment. It is a stunning, quiet paradox, living their entire sweeping lives completely submerged in an endless salty sea, yet forever sustained and nourished by the fresh hidden springs found only within the delicate shifting web of life. And as this perfect internal balance settles deep within your own quiet mind, your breathing naturally slows, your body finding its own effortless, perfectly sustained rhythm, rising and falling with the gentle tide. Echoing this internal, life-giving flow of breath and water is the intricate, completely hidden machinery of their iconic song. We have heard the rhythmic clicks bouncing off the coral and the beautiful, haunting whistles echoing in the deep, yet dolphins possess absolutely no vocal cords. Deep within the dark, muscular architecture of their blowhole, hidden safely just beneath the crown of their head, lie paired, delicate structures known as phonic lips. As they gracefully, purposefully push pressurized air past these soft, fleshy folds, the tissue vibrates, creating the complex, sweeping symphony of the sea. What is truly breathtaking is that they possess two distinct, independent sets of these lips, allowing them to brilliantly, simultaneously click out a rhythmic, heavy sonar map of the ocean floor, while beautifully, flawlessly singing their melodic signature whistle into the deep. Two completely different, highly complex conversations, flowing seamlessly and peacefully from a single resting mind. The invisible, physical vibration of this dual underwater song can sometimes become as solid and forceful as a heavy physical touch. When hunting in the deep, vast, unlit canyons of the open ocean, some dolphins can channel these vocal vibrations into a focused, incredibly powerful beam of pure acoustic energy. The staccato burst of sound they create is so intensely loud and so heavily compressed by the dense surrounding water that it manifests as a literal physical pressure wave. As this invisible, solid wall of sound forcefully strikes a school of darting silver fish, it beautifully, temporarily overwhelms their tiny nervous systems, safely and quietly stunning them in place. It is a hunt conducted entirely without sudden violence, a gentle, vibrating touch from afar that momentarily, peacefully pauses the frantic dance of life, allowing the dolphin to effortlessly, quietly feed in the heavy dark, while the loud, powerful vibrations echo through the vast, open, deep water canyons. A much softer, entirely invisible energy hums silently along the shallow, cloudy, sun-warmed coasts. The Guiana dolphin, a small, beautifully graceful creature that dances in the murky twilight, where the thick rivers meet the sea, possesses a sense that feels almost like pure ancient magic. Along their slender, sloping snout are tiny dark pits, the evolutionary soft remnants of the sensitive whiskers their ancestors possessed millions of years ago. These delicate pits have transformed entirely into highly specialized, highly sensitive electroreceptors. As they glide just inches above the silken golden mud, they can literally feel the faint microscopic bioelectric fields generated by the beating hearts and twitching muscles of crabs and fish hidden entirely beneath the sand. It is a profound sixth sense of pure glowing energy, an ability to perceive the hidden, quiet sparks of resting life buried in the absolute blinding dark. And as you imagine this quiet, glowing energy slowly pulsing, your own muscles loosen their final stubborn hold, melting entirely into a state of deep, weightless, profound rest. This invisible, pulling energy of life, the deep magnetic draw of connection and abundance, often draws them together into gatherings of unimaginably beautiful scale. While most dolphins live out their gentle lives in small, intimate, heavily bonded families, there are rare, breathtaking moments in the deep, trackless pelagic zones where the shifting, invisible currents bring endless, shimmering nourishment. In these moments of profound oceanic abundance, small, scattered pods begin to merge, joining softly together until the vast ocean practically boils with life, forming a magnificent, awe-inspiring superpod. Imagine a single, flowing river composed of thousands, sometimes tens of thousands, of sleek, silver bodies, moving effortlessly as one massive, synchronized, breathing organism across the endless sapphire expanse. The water physically vibrates with a cacophony of joyful, overlapping whistles, the surface churning with endless, playful, perfectly arched leaps, a temporary, magnificent, floating city of joy, beautifully constructed from nothing but water, coordinated motion, and deep, enduring social bonds. The kinetic, swirling, massive energy of these gatherings inevitably erupts upward, breaking the shimmering, glass-like boundary between the heavy water and the airy sky. In the warm, crystal-clear turquoise waters of the tropics, the slender, highly acrobatic spinner dolphin takes this joyful, bubbling energy straight into the air. When they burst forcefully from the sunlit surface, they do not merely leap, they twist their bodies into a tight, flawless aerodynamic spiral, rotating up to 7 complete times in a single, breathless, suspended second before falling beautifully, heavily back into the sea. This dizzying, perfect spinning flight is not just pure play. The rapid rotation creates a sudden, intense physical force that effortlessly flings away tiny, clinging parasites. Furthermore, the echoing, percussive splash of their heavy re-entry acts as a loud, rhythmic, physical drum beat. A joyful, resounding signal travelling miles through the water to their distant companions, perfectly communicating their exact position, their vibrant mood, and the sheer physical thrill of momentary flight. From the dizzying airborne spins that reach joyfully for the passing clouds, we gently, slowly invert our perspective entirely, sinking back down into the cool, sheltered, deeply shadowed coastal waters at the very edge of the world. Here, weaving through the thick amber stems of towering kelp forests, the tiny striking Commerson's dolphin glides effortlessly through the gloom. Their small rounded bodies are a bold, beautiful, highly contrasting tapestry of deep obsidian black and pure snowblind white. But what is truly mesmerizing is how they choose to navigate their quiet world. Because their tiny, shimmering prey often hides just millimeters beneath the mirrored surface of the water, these dolphins will deliberately, gracefully roll over, swimming entirely upside down for long, peaceful, unbroken stretches of time. They navigate their underwater world completely inverted, their dark bellies facing the bright sky, smoothly and quietly patrolling the mirrored ceiling of their aquatic home. A beautiful, gentle reminder that in the weightless, endless sea, there is no true up or down, only the gentle, fluid flow of life adjusting perfectly to the light. As this weightless, floating sensation gently washes over you, you feel perfectly supported, letting go of all resistance, completely suspended in the quiet dark. This fluid, shifting gravity, turning the world beautifully upside down and diving straight down into the heavy, crushing dark, requires an internal architecture of profound, highly protective cushioning. As they plunge deep into the twilight abyss to hunt, the immense physical pressure of the water column violently, forcefully squeezes their bodies, pushing their rich, warm blood forcefully and rapidly toward their vital internal organs. To completely protect their incredibly delicate, highly complex, beautiful brain from this sudden, massive surge of pressure, they possess a magnificent biological shock absorber known perfectly as the rete mirabile, the wonderful net. It is an incredibly dense, beautifully tangled, microscopic web of soft blood vessels that sits just at the exact base of their sloping skull. This spongy, wonderful net safely and gently catches the rushing blood, miraculously slowing its momentum down, perfectly regulating the heavy pressure and ensuring that their beautiful, dreaming mind is always flawlessly, peacefully protected, no matter how deep into the lightless void they go. When they finally, slowly rise from that crushing, heavy dark, breaking the gentle surface to breathe the sweet, cool, life-giving air, the very first part of their body to meet the warming sun is the sweeping, gracefully curved silhouette of their dorsal fin. As they glide smoothly through the calm, golden, honeyed light of late afternoon, these prominent fins act as perfectly balanced biological keels, keeping their smooth, heavy bodies flawlessly stable in the rolling, unpredictable waves. But if you look very closely, bathed in the amber, fading light, you will see that no two fins in the entire vast ocean are ever beautifully alike. The trailing edge of every single dorsal fin is gently notched, gracefully scarred, and uniquely shaped by the long, beautiful, unwritten journey of their life. Some bear the smooth, scalloped, gentle marks of youthful, boisterous play, while others carry the jagged, perfectly healed lines of deep survival. They are a permanent living fingerprint, held silently and proudly high above the water, a unique, deeply personal, beautiful signature of their exact existence, softly painted in silhouette against the shifting pastel canvas of the infinite resting sky. The unique scarred silhouettes of these dorsal fins, etched against the velvet purple of a fading twilight, slowly dissolve into the deep rhythmic shadows of the mid-ocean night, where the distinction between the water and the stars begins to blur into a single, vast indigo dream. As the sun sinks far below the horizon, the ocean surface becomes a dark mirror, reflecting the silent, ancient glitter of the constellations above. In this profound, quiet darkness, the dolphins' movement takes on a ghostly, ethereal quality. Every flick of their powerful tail, every gentle roll of their silver flank, ignites a swirling, luminous cloud of cold, emerald fire in the water. This is the magic of bioluminescence. Billions of microscopic plankton reacting to the dolphin's touch by glowing with a soft neon radiance. The dolphins glide through the sea like living comets, trailing long, shimmering tails of liquid starlight through the abyss. A breathtaking, silent light show that mirrors the celestial map overhead, turning the deep ocean into a terrestrial reflection of the infinite heavens. The texture of this shimmering liquid starlight leads us away from the open sea and back toward the intricate hidden nurseries of the coastal mangroves, where the water is thick, still, and heavy with the scent of salt and ancient peat. Here, the roots of the trees reach down into the silt like the delicate gnarled ribs of a sunken cathedral. In these quiet, protected shadows, we find the fascinating, diminutive Maui dolphin, a creature so rare and so small that it seems more like a whisper of the sea than a physical inhabitant. Growing to barely 5 feet in length, they are the smallest of all their kin, possessing a rounded, snub-nosed dorsal fin that looks remarkably like a single, dark, curved Mickey Mouse ear breaking the glassy surface. They move with a quiet, humble precision through the labyrinth of roots, their small, compact bodies perfectly suited for the tight, winding paths of the nearshore world. A miniature masterpiece of evolution, thriving in the delicate, shallow margins where the land and the water are one. And as this knowledge of the small and the rare settles into the quiet corners of your mind, your breathing slows to match the stillness of the mangrove swamp. A deep, heavy, effortless calm spreading through your limbs like the slow incoming tide. While the light fades in the tangled roots of the mangroves, it brightens in the vast open-air theatres of the South Pacific, where the air is warm and the water is a clear, vibrant sapphire. In these sun-drenched reaches, the dolphins exhibit a behaviour that bridges the gap between the wild ocean and the structured social lives of the shore. They are masters of the tail walk. By churning their powerful tail flukes with incredible focus, speed and strength, they can propel their entire heavy bodies vertically out of the water, standing tall on the surface as if by a miracle. They skip backward across the waves, their silver bellies glistening in the tropical sun, defying gravity for long suspended seconds of pure acrobatic joy. It is a behaviour often learned through social imitation, a cultural trend that ripples through a pod like a shared secret, a physical manifestation of a mind that is constantly experimenting, playing, and pushing the boundaries of what is possible in their liquid world. Echoing this physical mastery of the surface is an even deeper, more subtle mastery of the invisible world of pressure and sound. Within the complex architecture of the dolphin's inner ear lies a specialised, ultra-sensitive structure that allows them to hear frequencies nearly 10 times higher than the most acute human ear. This is not merely for navigation, it is for an incredibly intimate form of social eavesdropping. When a mother dolphin whistles to her calf, she's not just sending a signal, she's projecting a complex holographic-like burst of data that can be felt by the entire pod. They can hear the subtle sonic signatures of stress, the melodic trills of excitement, and the low, resonant thrum of deep relaxation. They exist in a world where emotions are not just felt internally, but are broadcast as beautiful, vibrating textures through the water, a transparent social existence where every heartbeat and every sigh is shared in a communal, acoustic embrace. The vibration of these shared emotions flows seamlessly into the profound, biological resilience that allows them to endure the harshest trials of the sea. Just as their blubber heals wounds with miraculous speed, their immune system possesses a unique, quiet power that remains a mystery to the science of the land. Dolphins have been observed surviving injuries that would be catastrophic for any other mammal, their bodies naturally producing specialized proteins that act as potent internal antibiotics. They do not experience the same inflammatory responses that cause pain and swelling in humans. Instead, their bodies move directly into a state of calm, focused regeneration. It is a profound cellular peace, an internal environment that refuses to be conquered by trauma, choosing instead to remain steady, resilient, and flawlessly whole, even when the world around them is turbulent and sharp. And as you sense this internal resilience within yourself, your muscles soften even further, any lingering tension dissolving like salt in the warm, heavy currents of the deep. You are safe, you are whole, and you are drifting. This state of internal cellular calm mirrors the incredible, specialized structure of their blood itself. To survive the deep, cold dives where the oxygen is scarce and the pressure is great, a dolphin's blood is thick and rich, packed with a significantly higher concentration of red blood cells than our own. These cells are the tiny, tireless oxygen bearers of the deep, allowing the dolphin to store vast reservoirs of life-giving air within their very veins. This thick blood acts as a biological battery, powering their sleek, powerful muscles for long stretches of time without the need for a single breath. When they finally return to the surface, they do not pant or struggle. They simply exhale a single crystalline mist, draw in the fresh air, and return to their peaceful rhythmic glide. A perfectly optimized system of energy and rest, perfectly balanced for life in the limitless blue. From the internal, oxygen-rich rivers of their veins, we look outward to the vast, shifting geography of the ocean floor, which the dolphins map with an accuracy that shames our most advanced technology. Using their focused, melodic sonar, they can detect an object as small as a single silver coin dropped into the dark, silt-heavy waters of a harbour from over 100 yards away. They don't just see the object, they see through it. They can perceive the density of the metal, the hollow spaces within, and the way it rests upon the shifting sand. This X-ray vision of sound allows them to navigate the most cluttered, lightless environments with the confidence of a king walking through his own palace. They move through the dark not with fear, but with total sensory mastery. A profound, quiet confidence that comes from knowing exactly where every grain of sand and every hidden stone lies in the velvet dark. The texture of this acoustic mastery leads us back to the social bonds that define their very soul. In the deep, sapphire waters of the Atlantic, certain groups of male dolphins form what are known as first-order alliances. These are not temporary partnerships, but lifelong, unbreakable friendships that rival the closest human bonds. These pairs, or trios of males, spend almost every waking and sleeping second together, synchronizing their breaths, their leaps, and their songs for decades. They act as a single, coordinated unit, protecting one another from predators and assisting each other in the complex dance of social life. When one is tired, the others move into a protective formation. When one is joyful, the others join in the celebration. It is a testament to the power of companionship, a reminder that in the vast, intimidating expanse of the ocean, true strength is found in the soft, steady presence of a loyal friend. While these alliances provide strength in the open water, a different kind of specialized wisdom is found in the shallow, sun-scorched flats of the Florida Keys. Here, a specific group of dolphins has mastered a technique known as kerplunking. They swim rapidly into the shallowest water, arching their bodies and driving their tail flukes downward with such violent rhythmic force that they create a massive underwater kerplunk sound and a towering plume of bubbles. This sudden, explosive noise startles the fish hiding deep within the thick emerald seagrass, flushing them out into the open where they can be easily, gracefully caught. It is a brilliant percussive use of the environment, a creative solution to the puzzles of survival that shows a mind capable of innovation, strategy, and a deep, intuitive understanding of the physics of their watery world. As the bubbles from the kerplunking dance slowly rise and pop at the surface, mirroring the gentle, fading thoughts in your own mind, we find our journey coming to a quiet, temporary rest in the most ancient of oceanic cradles. In the deep, silent waters of the Mediterranean, dolphins have been revered by humans for millennia, their images carved into the stones of ancient temples and painted onto the walls of forgotten palaces. The ancients believed that dolphins were the souls of the sea, messengers of the gods who carried the spirits of the weary to the blessed isles of rest. This ancient, timeless reverence still echoes in the way we feel when we see a silver fin break the water at dawn. It is a feeling of homecoming, of deep, ancestral recognition, a reminder that we are all part of the same great, breathing mystery of life. As you drift now, let the image of 1,000 silver dolphins gliding in perfect, silent synchrony beneath a canopy of ancient stars carry you into the deepest, most restorative sleep. The ancient, timeless reverence of the Mediterranean stone carvings fades into the soft, shifting currents of the present moment, where the silver light of the moon continues to dance upon the ever-moving surface of the sea. Just as the ancients saw spirits in the waves, modern eyes find a different kind of wonder in the sheer physical diversity of this aquatic family. While we often imagine the dolphin as a creature of tropical warmth, there are those who have made their home in the most unforgiving crystalline shadows of the world. The hourglass dolphin, a small and striking figure of the Antarctic and subantarctic waters, moves through the freezing white-capped swells like a shadow of the ice itself. Their bodies are a bold, high-contrast masterpiece of obsidian and snow, marked by two white patches that meet at a delicate point, resembling a glowing celestial hourglass painted upon their flanks. They thrive in the churning icy currents of the Southern Ocean, their thick blubber providing a warm internal sanctuary against the biting cold, a living testament that grace and beauty can flourish even in the most rugged and remote corners of our planet. The texture of this cold, resilient grace leads us toward the subtle, internal mechanisms that allow for such life to persist in the silence of the deep. Beneath the skin of every dolphin lies a complex biological clock that beats with the precision of the celestial spheres. While we measure our days by the harsh ticking of a clock, the dolphin's life is governed by the rhythmic, heavy cycles of the sun and the tide. They possess a profound, innate circadian rhythm that coordinates the release of hormones, the slowing of the heart, and the periodic descent into unihemispheric sleep. Even in the trackless, featureless open ocean, they always know when it is time to hunt and when it is time to surrender to the slow, heavy glide of rest. Their bodies are perfectly synchronized with the pulse of the earth, a quiet internal harmony that ensures they are never out of step with the great breathing rhythm of the world around them. And as this knowledge of internal rhythm settles into your own resting body, your breathing slows to match the heartbeat of the tide. You are becoming a part of the great quiet pulse of the night. While the cold light of the Antarctic fades, the warmth of a social intelligence brightens in the emerald waters off the coast of Australia. Here, the Indo-Pacific bottlenose dolphins demonstrate a level of cultural sophistication that mirrors the most complex human societies. In the quiet, sandy-bottomed bays, certain pods have developed the art of shelling. A dolphin will find a large, empty conch shell resting on the sea floor, manipulate it with incredible, delicate precision, and use it to trap small, hiding fish. They then carry the shell to the surface and shake it vigorously, letting the trapped fish fall directly into their waiting mouths. This isn't just an instinct, it is a tool-using tradition, a piece of cultural heritage passed from mother to calf, a shared language of ingenuity that defines their specific family, a beautiful, intellectual thread weaving together the generations through the simple shared act of learning. Echoing this intellectual thread is the profound acoustic architecture of their social world. Beyond the signature whistles that act as their names, dolphins engage in a constant low-level chatter known as burst pulse sounds. These are not the sharp, clear clicks of sonar, but rather a series of rapid-fire tactile vibrations that feel like a soft, buzzing hum in the water. These sounds are often used during moments of high emotional intensity or deep social bonding, a physical manifestation of their feelings rippling through the liquid space between them. When two dolphins swim close together, their burst pulse sounds create a shared, vibrating field that allows them to feel each other's presence and emotional state without a single visual cue. It is an intimacy of sound, a way of holding one another within a soft acoustic embrace that transcends the need for words. The vibration of this acoustic intimacy flows seamlessly into the miraculous elastic nature of their internal organs. As a dolphin dives deep into the high-pressure world of the abyss, their lungs are not the only things that adapt with fluid grace. Their very rib cage is detached from their sternum by flexible cartilaginous hinges, allowing their chest to collapse safely inward as the weight of the ocean increases. This flexibility prevents the bones from snapping under the immense crushing weight of the water column. Inside, their liver and other soft organs are supported by a specialized pressurized fluid system that prevents them from being compressed. They are quite literally built to be squeezed, to be embraced by the ocean without being broken by it. It is a profound physical yielding to the environment, a lesson in the strength that comes from being soft, flexible, and completely at peace with the pressures of the world. And as you sense this capacity for yielding within your own form, your joints feel loose and heavy, your spine lengthening and relaxing into the support beneath you. You are safe to let go, for you are as resilient as the deep. This physical yielding is mirrored by the extraordinary rapid regeneration of their sensory cells. In the salt-heavy, abrasive environment of the sea, the delicate tissues of the eyes and the blowhole are constantly exposed to wear and tear. To maintain their peak, crystal-clear perception, dolphins possess a rate of cellular turnover that is among the highest in the animal kingdom. The cells of their cornea, for example, are replaced so frequently that their vision never suffers from the scratches or clouding that might plague other creatures. They are in a state of constant, quiet self-repair, a biological fountain of youth that ensures their connection to the world remains sharp, vivid, and beautifully clear. It is a quiet, internal maintenance of the soul's windows, a commitment to seeing the world in all its shimmering, unfettered glory, no matter how long the journey. From the microscopic renewal of the eye, we look outward to the massive sweeping migrations that define the lives of the oceanic nomads. The Fraser's dolphin, a species of the deep tropical waters, is a master of the long-distance journey. They move in massive, tightly packed herds of hundreds or even thousands, travelling across the trackless blue with a collective purpose that defies individual understanding. They do not navigate by landmarks, for there are none in the open sea. Instead, they use a combination of the sun's position, the Earth's magnetic field, and a deep ancestral memory of the ocean's scents, the chemical signatures of distant currents and undersea volcanoes. They move with a quiet, unwavering confidence, a single, massive heart beating across the map of the world, a reminder that we are never truly lost when we follow the deep internal compass of our own nature. The texture of this long-distance confidence leads us back to the intricate, delicate details of their tactile world. Although their skin appears as smooth as a polished stone, it is incredibly sensitive, especially around the rostrum and the blowhole. Dolphins possess a density of nerve endings in these areas that rivals the sensitivity of human fingertips. They use their snouts to see through touch, gently nudging a companion to offer comfort, or feeling the texture of a strange new object with the curiosity of a child. This high sensitivity touch is a vital part of their social language. A simple, lingering graze of a flipper can convey more trust and affection than 1,000 whistles. They live in a world of constant tactile feedback, a continuous soft conversation with the water and with each other that keeps them intimately grounded in the reality of the present moment. While this tactile sensitivity keeps them grounded, their respiratory system allows them to touch the very edge of the impossible. A dolphin's lungs are incredibly efficient, capable of exchanging up to 90% of their air in a single explosive breath, compared to the mere 15% we humans manage. This allows them to saturate their blood with oxygen in a split second before diving back into the silence. But even more impressive is their ability to tolerate high levels of carbon dioxide and lactic acid in their muscles. They have developed a high anaerobic threshold, meaning they can keep their powerful muscles moving long after the oxygen has run out, pushing through the burning sensation of fatigue with a quiet, focused determination. They are masters of the long, silent pause, finding a way to thrive in the spaces where there is no air, sustained by the sheer, resilient power of their own internal fire. As the bubbles from a single, deep-sea breath rise slowly toward the silver ceiling of the waves, mirroring the slow, ascending drift of your own consciousness toward the realm of dreams, we find ourselves back in the presence of the great communal wisdom of the pod. In the waters of the Bahamas, dolphins have been observed engaging in alloparenting, a beautiful social structure where females who are not the biological mother will take turns caring for, protecting, and even nursing a young calf. This shared responsibility ensures the calf's safety and allows the mother time to rest and feed. It is a profound expression of communal love, a world where no child is a stranger and every member of the group is invested in the future of the whole. As you drift now, let the image of this shared protective circle, a ring of silver bodies keeping watch over a sleeping child in the warm turquoise light, carry you into a sleep that is deep, secure, and infinitely peaceful. The shared protective circle of silver bodies, hovering peacefully in the warm turquoise light, is bound together by something far stronger than just the immediate physical moment. It is woven from the deep, enduring magic of profound, long-term memory. Beneath their beautifully smooth, domed foreheads, the dolphin mind holds a vast, pristine archive of the past that rivals the greatest libraries of the terrestrial world. Even if they are separated by the massive shifting currents of the open ocean for decades, they never, ever forget a friend. If a dolphin hears the unique melodic signature whistle of a companion they have not seen for over 20 long sweeping years, they will instantly recognize it. They will turn their sleek bodies toward the sound, their hearts remembering the exact beautiful frequency of a bond forged in their youth, an unbroken, invisible string of acoustic memory that stretches effortlessly across the vast dark expanses of time and tide. This memory is not merely a spark of recognition, but a deep emotional homecoming, proving that within the endless, trackless blue, true connections are permanently, beautifully engraved into the very soul of the sea. The texture of this enduring memory leads us softly to the physical memories held by the ocean floor itself, and the ancient, quiet wisdom these creatures possess regarding the healing properties of their vibrant home. In the warm, incredibly clear shallows of the Red Sea, where the light fractures into a million dancing rainbows, dolphins engage in a breathtaking, deliberate ritual of self-care. They glide down to the colourful, swaying gardens of the reef and actively seek out specific, soft Gorgonian corals. With slow, luxurious and highly deliberate movements, they swim repeatedly through the delicate, branching polyps, gently rubbing their sleek flanks against the living structure. This is not a random itch. The coral releases a specialized antibacterial mucus that coats the dolphin's skin, acting as a soothing medicinal balm. It is a brilliant, entirely natural form of pharmacology, a deep intuitive understanding of the ocean's hidden apothecaries, treating their bodies with the gentle, healing touch of the vibrant, blooming reef, allowing their perfectly smooth skin to absorb the ancient protective immunity of the coral, blending their own vital health with the living, breathing architecture of the seabed. As they weave through these healing, swaying branches, a subtle, almost imperceptible rhythm reveals itself in the angle of their bodies, a beautiful biological asymmetry that mirrors the spiraling galaxies above. Just as a human might reach out with a dominant hand, the vast majority of dolphins are profoundly, beautifully right-handed. When they dive deep into the soft white sand to echolocate for hidden prey, or when they gently tilt their heads to investigate a fascinating new texture, they almost always roll to their right side. Their right eye scans the shifting shadows, and the right side of their lower jaw is angled closest to the ocean floor to catch the bouncing rhythmic echoes. This subtle rightward tilt dictates the sweeping circular flow of their entire foraging dance, a slow, beautiful clockwise ballet in the blue, a gentle reminder that even in the vast fluid symmetry of the ocean, life finds its own unique spiraling path, a quiet internal compass of movement that guides them flawlessly through the heavy water, turning every dive into a perfectly choreographed spiraling descent into the peaceful dark. And as this ancient spiraling rhythm guides them effortlessly through the heavy water, your own breathing naturally, beautifully slows. Your chest rising and falling in perfect rhythmic time with their gentle clockwise descent, sinking deeper and deeper into a state of absolute untroubled rest, feeling the weight of the day gently spiral away from your shoulders, dissolving completely into the vast holding ocean of your own deep relaxation, where nothing is required of you, and everything is perfectly, peacefully still. From the gentle spiraling descent of their bodies, we focus closely on the brilliant shifting architecture of their minds, specifically the rounded, prominent structure of their forehead, known as the melon. This is not a solid, rigid dome of bone, but an incredibly soft, malleable organ filled with complex acoustic fats. As they release their rhythmic clicks into the dense, heavy water, the dolphin can consciously, physically, change the exact shape of this melon. Using specialized, intricate muscles beneath their skin, they can flatten it, bulge it, or softly contort it, acting exactly like a living biological camera lens focusing light. By shifting the soft contours of their forehead, they can narrow their acoustic beam to a sharp, laser-like point to examine a tiny shell, or widen it into a broad, sweeping floodlight to scan the vast open horizon. It is a stunning, physical manipulation of sound itself, moulding their very form to see the invisible world with absolute, breathtaking clarity. A beautiful, physical malleability that proves how wonderfully adaptable they are, forever shaping themselves to perfectly understand the mysterious depths that surround them. The broad, sweeping floodlight of their acoustic vision frequently reveals moments of intense, chaotic beauty in the open sea, where massive, swirling bait balls of silver fish create a shimmering, shifting galaxy in the water. In these moments of immense oceanic abundance, the dolphin's profound intelligence transcends their own species, leading to breathtaking temporary alliances with creatures that would otherwise be rivals. They will actively, beautifully coordinate their movements with diving seabirds plunging from the sky like white arrows, and even with the slow, heavy, ancient forms of cruising sharks. The dolphins use their speed and intelligence to corral the panicked fish into a tight, dense sphere, while the other predators strike the edges. It is a stunning, unspoken truce in the deep, a complex, highly choreographed dance of survival where entirely different branches of the animal kingdom work together in perfect, deadly harmony, sharing the chaotic bounty of the wild, open sea, perfectly reading the body language of entirely alien species and turning the frantic, swirling energy of the ocean into a masterwork of cooperative, brilliant grace. Amidst this swirling, chaotic energy of the hunt, and amidst the quiet, peaceful moments of deep rest, the expression on the dolphin's face remains a picture of absolute, unwavering serenity. We look at their gracefully curved mouths and see a bright, permanent, deeply endearing smile. But this beautiful expression is not born of fleeting emotion. It is a masterpiece of hydrodynamic evolution. The permanent upward curve of their jawline is perfectly rigidly structured to slice through the dense, heavy water with the absolute minimum of resistance. Their smile is physically locked into the smooth, sweeping architecture of their skull. Whether they are experiencing the thrilling, rushing joy of riding a massive wave, or facing the deep, quiet challenges of the abyss, their face projects a constant, eternal peacefulness. It is a beautiful, biological illusion that perfectly mirrors the profound, internal calm they must maintain to thrive in such a vast, powerful environment. A beautiful, fixed reminder that no matter how turbulent the waters of life may become, it is always possible to face the currents with an expression of quiet, enduring grace. Feeling this fixed, eternal serenity wash over you. Notice how your own facial muscles begin to soften and completely let go, the tiny lines around your eyes smoothing out. Your jaw releasing its subconscious grip, melting into a deep, heavy, beautiful expression of total, absolute peace, perfectly mirroring the calm, quiet joy of the resting dolphin. As every single nerve in your body embraces this profound stillness, allowing you to float perfectly suspended in this warm, comforting, heavy state of deep, restorative trance. Beyond the fixed, hydrodynamic serenity of their physical smile lies an emotional capacity that is boundless, fluid, and incredibly profound, an empathy that stretches far beyond the boundaries of their own immediate family. In the warm, crystal-clear waters of Polynesia, researchers have witnessed a breathtaking testament to this unconditional love. A female bottlenose dolphin was found gently, fiercely caring for a completely different species, a small, dark, short-beaked calf of a melon-headed whale. She did not just tolerate this strange alien child, she fully adopted it, nursing it with her rich, heavy milk, protecting it from the shadows of the deep, and teaching it to navigate the complex social world of her pod. This stunning act of cross-species adoption requires a heart of immense, unimaginable capacity, a beautiful willingness to look past every physical difference and offer pure maternal sanctuary to a small lost soul drifting in the endless blue, a radiant living proof that the instinct to nurture and love is the most powerful unifying force in the vast echoing chambers of the natural world. The profound, immeasurable depth of their love means that they must also navigate the heavy, crushing weight of profound loss. When a member of their tightly woven pod passes away, the dolphins do not simply swim on, they experience the deep, complex shadows of grief. Mothers have been seen gently, tirelessly carrying the lifeless bodies of their past calves upon their rostrums, balancing them beautifully at the surface for days, refusing to let them sink into the dark abyss. The entire pod will gather around, their acoustic chatter falling into a slow, mournful, heavy silence. They will gently stroke the departed with their pectoral fins, a beautiful, heartbreaking vigil held in the swaying currents. It is a stunning, somber reflection of their vast emotional intelligence, a profound understanding of mortality, and a beautiful, agonizing reluctance to say goodbye to a soul that has been intimately woven into the very fabric of their aquatic lives. A heavy, beautiful sorrow that speaks volumes of the intense, radiant light their connections bring to the dark, mysterious depths of their underwater home. From the heavy, emotional depths of their mourning, we sink physically deeper into the crushing, absolute dark of the ocean's trenches, where their bodies must execute a brilliant physiological surrender to survive the unimaginable pressure. When they dive to these extreme, lightless depths, the heavy, compressed air in their lungs becomes a deadly hazard, threatening to push toxic nitrogen into their blood. To prevent this, the dolphin's lungs are completely, uniquely engineered. The tiny air sacs, the alveoli, are designed to completely, safely collapse under pressure, forcing all the air into the rigid, armoured upper airways where the gases absolutely cannot enter the bloodstream. It is a magnificent biological fail-safe, a complete physical closing off of the vulnerable parts of themselves. They protect their very core by yielding entirely to the weight of the ocean, beautifully avoiding the bends by simply, gracefully refusing to fight the immense crushing power of the abyss, turning their deepest, most dangerous descents into a masterclass of internal adaptation, proving that true survival often lies in knowing exactly when to let go and fold inward. When the deep hunt is over and the crushing, heavy dark begins to slowly, gradually lighten, they turn their smooth silver faces upward, beginning the long, peaceful ascent back to the world of air and light. From the twilight zone, the surface of the ocean looks like a magnificent glowing ceiling of liquid, undulating mercury. A bright shifting canopy separating their silent, heavy world from the airy, windswept sky. As they rise, the water pressure gently, beautifully releases its tight grip, their lungs softly expanding once more, their heartbeat gently quickening in anticipation of the sweet, cool breath. They glide upward through a gradient of colour, from deep velvet indigo to vibrant glowing sapphire, and finally into the warm golden sunlit turquoise. It is a daily physical resurrection, a beautiful slow-motion flight from the crushing lightless depths, back into the warm, shimmering, welcoming embrace of the sun, crossing the magical, shimmering boundary between the profound mysteries of the deep and the endless, open possibilities of the sky, forever suspended perfectly between two magnificent worlds. And as they gently break the surface, bathed in that warm golden light, you sink ever deeper into the soft, comforting darkness of sleep. Your mind perfectly clear, your body completely relaxed, drifting peacefully on the gentle, invisible currents of this quiet, restorative journey. The warm, golden embrace of the sunlit surface, where the water shimmers like a vast, breathing mirror, reveals a world not just of light, but of magnificent, invisible physical forces. When a massive, heavy object, like the smooth, dark hull of a wandering ship, or the colossal, barnacle-encrusted brow of a migrating blue whale, pushes through the dense ocean, it creates a hidden, rolling mountain of pressure beneath the waves. Dolphins possess an uncanny, brilliant ability to literally see and feel this invisible geometry of displaced water. They will glide effortlessly into the exact mathematical sweet spot of this submerged rolling hill, a phenomenon known as bow riding. Once positioned perfectly within this pressure wave, they do not need to flick their powerful tails or expend even a single ounce of physical energy. The immense pushing force of the ocean catches their sleek, streamlined bodies, holding them beautifully suspended in a state of absolute, effortless forward momentum. It is a feeling of pure, magical weightlessness, surrendering completely to a force far greater than themselves, allowing the heavy, surging world to carry them perfectly and safely through the endless blue. The sensation of this effortless forward glide carries us away from the glittering, transparent expanse of the open ocean, and draws us slowly inland toward the heavy, opaque, meandering rivers of the ancient East. Here, the water is not a clear sapphire, but a deep, thick, swirling mocha, heavily laden with the rich, sacred silt of the Himalayas. In this absolute blinding murk of the Ganges River, visual sight becomes entirely meaningless. The dolphins that inhabit these ancient flowing arteries have gracefully, evolutionarily let go of the need to see. Their eyes have diminished to the size of tiny dormant pinpricks, capable only of sensing the faint diffuse difference between the hazy day and the heavy night. To navigate this thick liquid earth, they swim continuously, beautifully on their sides. Their right pectoral flipper constantly, gently trails along the soft, muddy bottom of the riverbed. They literally feel their way through the dark, their entire existence defined by the intimate, continuous, sweeping touch of the ancient, sacred mud. A profound, physical grounding in a world where the water and the earth are beautifully, indistinguishably mixed. And as this deep, grounding sensation settles into your own resting form, your breathing slows down even further, your body sinking heavily into the soft, supporting surface beneath you, feeling perfectly anchored, perfectly safe, and completely at peace in the quiet dark. Echoing this physical, tactile connection to the earth is a stunning, invisible connection that stretches across the vast acoustic landscapes of the mind. We know that every dolphin beautifully authors its own unique melodic signature whistle, a beautiful sung name, but the true, breathtaking magic of this acoustic identity reveals itself when they are apart. When a dolphin is separated from a deeply cherished companion, they do not simply wait in silence. They will actively, beautifully sing the specific signature whistle of their absent friend into the vast dark water. It is the oceanic equivalent of calling out a loved one's name in a crowded room, a profound, emotional reaching out across the miles. They hold the acoustic shape of their friend's identity perfectly within their own mind and broadcast it into the blue, hoping the unique, familiar vibration will reach the one they miss. It is a stunning, undeniable proof of longing, of object permanence, and of a heart that remembers and reaches for the ones it loves, even when they are completely, visibly absent from the world. The texture of this acoustic longing beautifully shifts as we drift back into the flooded emerald green rainforests of the Amazon. where the pale, blushing pink Boto dolphins navigate the submerged, twisting roots of the jungle. Here, the desire for connection takes on a highly physical, deeply romantic and beautifully visual form. When a mature, rosy-hued male wishes to express his profound affection and impress a potential mate, he does not rely on song alone. He will dive down to the flooded, shadowed forest floor and carefully, deliberately select a perfect leafy branch, a clump of soft green aquatic weeds, or even a hardened piece of clay. He will gently clamp this prize in his long, slender jaws, rise to the dappled, sunlit surface, and beautifully, proudly display it, twirling the gift in the water or thrashing it gently against the surface to create a shimmering cascade of water droplets. It is a deliberate, joyful presentation of a token, a breathtaking, ancient ritual of courtship that bridges the gap between the simple gathering of the earth and the complex, beautiful expression of a hopeful, beating heart. This physical offering, clamped gently in their smiling jaws, brings our focus intimately to the remarkable, hidden architecture of those very teeth. While they use their perfectly conical, interlocking teeth to carefully hold their shimmering gifts or securely catch their silver prey, these teeth also harbour a quiet, deeply guarded secret of time itself. If you were to look closely at a cross-section of a single dolphin tooth, you would not see a solid, uniform piece of ivory. Instead, you would see a beautiful, concentric series of microscopic, alternating dark and light bands, exactly like the ancient, sprawling growth rings of a towering, silent redwood tree. Every single year of the dolphin's sweeping, magnificent life deposits a new, distinct layer of dentin within the tooth. Their entire history, the lean years of cold currents, the abundant years of the blooming spring, is quietly, perfectly recorded in the very bones of their smile. They carry the physical, spiraling calendar of their entire existence safely within them, a silent, perfect archive of a life beautifully lived in the ever-shifting sea. And as the passage of these ancient rings settles into your own awareness, you feel the gentle, rhythmic passing of time slowing down, your muscles loosening their final, stubborn holds, your mind drifting completely away from the ticking clock, embracing the endless, timeless, rolling present of the deep. The passage of time recorded within their jaws beautifully yields to the miraculous anatomical separation hidden just beyond, in the dark, sloping tunnel of their throat. When a dolphin catches a large, struggling silver fish in the freezing depths, they must swallow it completely whole, surrounded entirely by the heavy, crushing seawater. Yet, they never take a single, accidental drop of that salty brine into their precious lungs. This is achieved through a masterpiece of biological plumbing known as a goose beak. The dolphin's larynx is heavily elongated, resembling a rigid, muscular tube that perfectly seamlessly crosses straight through their esophagus and locks securely directly into their blowhole at the crown of their head. The passage for breathing and the passage for swallowing are absolutely permanently separated, like two perfectly isolated crossing highways. They can swallow the heaviest bounty of the sea without ever needing a gag reflex, their delicate lungs remaining completely, peacefully isolated from the chaotic, watery world rushing just millimeters away, perfectly protected, flawlessly sealed, and internally serene. This absolute biological separation of vital channels perfectly mirrors the highly specialized, perfectly tuned chemistry required to hear the whispers of the ocean. We know that the dolphin receives the returning, bouncing echoes of its sonar through its hollow lower jawbone, but it is the substance resting inside that bone that is truly miraculous. This channel is filled with a highly specific, complex acoustic lipid, a fat so chemically unique and perfectly tuned that it does not exist anywhere else in the entire animal kingdom. The molecular density of this acoustic fat is an exact, flawless match for the density of the cold, heavy seawater outside. Because the densities match perfectly, the invisible sound waves do not bend, refract, or lose any energy as they pass from the ocean, through their skin, and into their jaw. The transition is absolutely, beautifully seamless. It is an internal chemical perfection, a specialized oil that acts as the ultimate frictionless conductor of sound, allowing them to feel the most delicate, microscopic vibrations of the deep with breathtaking, crystal-clear resolution. The delicate chemical perfection of this acoustic fat, catching the invisible whispers of the deep, stands in stark, beautiful contrast to the highly visible, explosive bursts of communication they craft from pure air. While they often glide in complete harmonious silence, there are moments of intense social dynamic where a dolphin will forcefully, deliberately release a massive, thick cloud of bubbles from their blowhole. These are not the delicate, playful, ascending silver rings of their quiet resting times. These are large, chaotic, boiling bursts of air that instantly expand in the water, creating a sudden, blinding, bright white visual barrier. This sudden bubble cloud is a powerful visual exclamation point, a way to show dominance, to playfully startle a companion, or to brilliantly, confusingly herd a darting school of fish into a tight, panicked sphere. It is the breathtaking transformation of their own invisible, life-giving breath into a solid, highly effective physical tool, temporarily painting the blue water with the sudden, striking white canvas of their internal air. And as you visualize this expanding breath softly rising and dissolving into the infinite blue, your own exhales become longer, smoother, heavier, your body sinking deeper into the soft velvet of the night, letting go of every thought, leaving only the gentle rising bubbles of pure, thoughtless peace, this visible, expanding breath, rising through the stormy, churning waters of the far south. Brings us to the rugged, awe-inspiring shores of Patagonia, where the Peale's dolphin dances in the chaos. Here, the ocean is not a calm, tropical turquoise, but a deep, churning, dark emerald, constantly lashed by howling winds and massive, heavy swells that crash violently against jagged, submerged stones. Yet, the Peale's dolphin does not flee this turbulent, intimidating realm. They have made it their majestic playground. They purposefully navigate the treacherous, thick, twisting forests of giant kelp that cling to the rocky reefs. As the heavy, powerful waves surge and pull through the thick brown fronds, these dolphins weave through the claustrophobic underwater jungle with astonishing millimetre-perfect agility. They use the thick, swaying kelp beds as a perfectly designed natural obstacle course, darting through the narrow, shifting gaps to catch the small fish that seek shelter in the storm. They are the undeniable masters of chaotic environments. Finding absolute fluid calm and perfect, graceful control within the most violent, churning and unforgiving waters of the world, the chaotic, swirling energy of the Southern Ocean slowly, gently subsides, the heavy crashing waves melting away into the calm, glassy stillness of a protected, starlit lagoon. As the day ends, and the need for intense, focused agility fades, the dolphins must finally surrender to the deep, restorative pull of sleep. But even in their rest, their connection to the physical spinning of the earth remains deeply, profoundly intertwined. When a dolphin engages in their unihemispheric sleep, resting one half of their magnificent brain while the other remains awake to monitor their breathing, they do not simply float perfectly still. They swim slowly, gently, in a massive, continuous, perfect circle. And beautifully, miraculously, this slow, sweeping, resting rotation often mirrors the magnetic, invisible pull of the globe. In the quiet, resting waters of the Northern Hemisphere, these sleeping circles are most frequently traced in a slow, clockwise direction, while in the gentle, starlit waters of the Southern Hemisphere, they often drift in a continuous, heavy, counterclockwise spiral. It is a stunning slow-motion ballet of deep rest, perfectly, quietly synchronized with the ancient, invisible, spinning forces of the planet, a beautiful, infinite loop of sleep, carrying them softly and safely through the velvet dark. the beautiful, infinite loop of sleep, that slow, majestic rotation carrying them safely through the velvet dark, brings our quiet focus to the physical weight that holds them in this perfect suspended orbit. For a terrestrial creature, bones are heavy, solid structures, filled with dense marrow to support the crushing weight of gravity. But the dolphin has beautifully entirely let go of this terrestrial burden. To achieve their flawless neutral buoyancy in the heavy salt water, their bones have evolved into a masterpiece of internal architecture. Rather than hollow cavities, their skeleton is profoundly spongy, packed intricately with a specialized light oil-filled matrix. This beautiful internal honeycomb of calcium and lipid acts as a permanent biological ballast. It makes them completely, miraculously weightless. A perfect, quiet balance of heavy structure and floating light, allowing them to hang suspended in the liquid universe without sinking into the abyss or bobbing helplessly to the surface, perfectly, restfully held in the middle of the deep blue column. This perfect internal balance of oil and bone allows them to rise effortlessly, like a slow-moving thought, to the very boundary of the air. When they finally break the glassy, shimmering surface to exhale, the sudden, striking burst of mist we see is not a fountain of seawater. It is a beautiful, temporary creation of pure atmospheric alchemy. Deep within their lungs, the air is held under immense pressure, heated beautifully by the strong, steady furnace of their mammalian core. When the powerful muscular valve of their blowhole forcefully opens, this hot, pressurized breath rushes upward and violently collides with the cool, salty ocean breeze. In a fraction of a second, the hot breath violently condenses, forming a glittering, sparkling cloud of pure mist. It is a tiny, personal, glowing rainstorm, catching the golden rays of the sun for just a fleeting moment before dissolving completely, peacefully, back into the wind. As this glittering mist dissolves into the ocean breeze, fading into nothingness, we sink softly back below the mirrored surface, where a different kind of invisible cloud lingers in the blue. To our human eyes, when a silver fish darts quickly away into the shadows, it leaves no trace. But the dolphin exists in a world of profound, lingering textures. As a fish swims, the movement of its tail creates microscopic, swirling vortices of displaced water, a silent, invisible wake that hangs in the heavy ocean like a ghost. The dolphin's skin, particularly around its smooth, sloping face, is so incredibly, breathtakingly sensitive to pressure that they can literally feel this invisible trail. They can slowly, gracefully follow the physical echo of a creature that has long since vanished, tracing the swirling liquid path through the dark, swimming through the lingering memories of movement left behind in the silent water. And as this knowledge settles deep within your quiet mind, your breathing naturally, beautifully slows, your chest rising and falling in perfect, effortless harmony with the gentle, unseen currents of your own deep rest. The texture of this invisible, swirling wake is painted upon a visual canvas that is profoundly, beautifully, and eternally serene. While the world above the waves is a chaotic, screaming spectrum of reds, yellows, and vibrant greens, the dolphin's eyes have peacefully, evolutionarily let go of this visual noise. They do not possess the cone cells required to see the full, vibrant spectrum of colour. Instead, their vision is a masterclass in high-contrast, beautiful simplicity. They see their vast underwater universe in an infinite, subtle range of shimmering blues, luminous silvers, and deep, velvet greys. By shedding the distraction of colour, their eyes become incredibly perfectly optimized for detecting the faintest shift in light, the softest shadow of a passing cloud, and the brilliant sudden flash of a silver flank in the gloom. It is a monochromatic dreamscape, a world stripped of harshness, leaving only the pure, calming essence of light and shadow drifting endlessly through the blue. This calming, monochromatic dreamscape deepens and cools as the light is slowly, peacefully swallowed by the descending depths. In the absolute crushing darkness of the midnight zone, certain members of the dolphin family, like the majestic, deeply dark pilot whale, reveal a breathtaking hidden athleticism. At the sunlit surface, they move with a slow, heavy, lethargic grace, resting like dark logs in the gentle swells. But when they point their rounded heads downward and plunge into the lightless void, they transform entirely. In the pitch black, hunting the elusive, glowing giant squid, they become the undisputed cheetahs of the deep. Guided solely by the rapid, rhythmic clicks of their internal sonar, they execute explosive, high-speed, acrobatic sprints through the freezing dark, twisting, turning, and accelerating with an intense, burning energy that is completely invisible to the world above. It is a secret, wild dance of pure power, hidden safely in the most remote, unlit theatre on Earth. The incredible, explosive heat generated by these deep, lightless sprints must be carefully, beautifully preserved when they finally catch their icy prey in the freezing crush of the abyss. When a dolphin opens its mouth in the frigid depths, the icy seawater rushes in, threatening to steal the vital, burning heat from their core. To prevent this, their anatomy harbours a stunning hidden miracle right at the base of their tongue. Before the blood reaches the soft, exposed tissues of their mouth, it passes through a microscopic, deeply woven net of veins and arteries. This countercurrent heat exchange beautifully, instantly transfers the warmth from the outgoing arterial blood directly into the returning venous blood. The heat is perfectly caught and cycled back to their heavy, beating heart, while the tongue itself remains safely, comfortably cool. It is a brilliant internal conservation of fire, a quiet, physiological shield that keeps their inner world burning bright, even when the ocean tries to steal their warmth. From this warm, protected centre flows the intricate, vibrating language that connects them to their specific, beloved family. We know that every dolphin beautifully sings its own unique name, but the complexity of their culture goes far deeper into the realm of shared, acoustic identity. Just as human languages shift and mould themselves across towering mountains and winding rivers, the clicks, whistles, and burst pulses of the dolphin shift across the vast, rolling ocean currents. A pod of spotted dolphins navigating the warm, shallow banks of the Bahamas sounds beautifully, distinctly different from a pod surfing the cold, heavy swells of the Pacific. They possess rich, localized, regional dialects, a specific acoustic accent that perfectly identifies exactly where they belong in the massive blue world. It is a spoken heritage, a liquid, vibrating culture passed down from mother to calf, ensuring that no matter how far they roam, they always carry the unmistakable, comforting sound of their home waters, and as you listen to the quiet, steady rhythm of your own pulse, you feel perfectly anchored in your own safe space, the heavy, comforting blanket of relaxation wrapping around you like the familiar sound of a gentle, ancient song. These unique regional accents sometimes beautifully overlap with the deep, rumbling, slow-motion songs of the ocean's true, towering giants. In the crystal-clear, sun-drenched waters of the Hawaiian Islands, bottlenose dolphins seek out a majestic interspecies playground. They actively, joyfully search for the massive, slow-moving forms of migrating humpback whales. As the colossal whale pushes its immense, barnacled head through the heavy sea, it creates a massive, rolling wave of pressure directly above its rostrum. The tiny silver dolphins will perfectly, precisely position themselves in this invisible sweet spot, allowing the immense power of the whale to push them effortlessly forward. They balance on the pressure wave, surfing the slipstream of the giant, sometimes even playfully sliding down the whale's massive sloping back. It is a slow, majestic, breathtaking parade. A beautiful, playful treaty between the small and the colossal, sharing the joy of movement in the endless shimmering blue. the towering ancient presence of the whale, carrying the playful dolphin through the water, echoes a deep, forgotten history hidden quietly, completely out of sight within the dolphin's own sleek form. If you were to look past their perfectly smooth, hydrodynamic skin, deep into the heavy, thick muscle of their lower back, you would find a profound biological secret. Suspended entirely in the muscle, completely disconnected from their spine or any other part of their skeleton, lie two tiny, fragile fragments of floating bone. These are their vestigial pelvic bones, the absolute last microscopic echoes of the hips and hind legs that their ancestors used to walk upon the ancient sun-baked earth millions of years ago. These tiny floating stones serve no purpose in swimming. They are simply a quiet, fossilized memory of the land. It is a beautiful, physical whisper of their incredibly long journey. A reminder that they carry the ancient earth safely hidden within them, even as they beautifully master the deep. This silent, internal echo of the ancient earth is forever pulled, guided, and beautifully synchronized with the pale, ancient light of the sky above. For the dolphins that roam the vast, deep-water pelagic zones, the sun is not the only celestial body that dictates their lives. They are profoundly, intimately tied to the shifting gravitational breath of the moon. As the lunar cycle waxes to a brilliant, glowing full moon and wanes to a sliver of silver in the dark, it dictates the massive vertical migration of the deep scattering layer, the billions of tiny fish and glowing squid that hide in the abyss by day and rise by night. The dolphins perfectly time their deep hunting dives to match this lunar rhythm. They are true celestial hunters, their entire existence, their hunger and their rest beautifully, inextricably tethered to the soft glowing light in the night sky. They are the beautiful silver children of the moon, dancing in the dark water, forever following the gentle ancient pull of the orbiting light. The gentle ancient pull of the orbiting light, drawing their gaze ever upward, toward the shimmering mirrored boundary where the heavy ocean perfectly meets the vast silent night. When a dolphin wishes to truly observe this celestial canopy, they do not simply breach and fall back into the dark. They engage in a slow, highly deliberate and beautifully suspended act known as spy hopping. They point their smooth, sloping rostrums directly toward the ancient constellations, treading the water with gentle, sweeping, rhythmic motions of their powerful flukes, and slowly, vertically rise until their dark, expressive eyes completely clear the surface. In this magical, floating moment, their vision undergoes an instantaneous, microscopic miracle. For a terrestrial creature, opening our eyes underwater results in a harsh, unfocused blur. But the dolphin possesses a uniquely shaped, highly elastic biological lens. As they break the surface, the intricate muscles within their eyes instantly, perfectly adjust the shape of this lens, miraculously compensating for the sudden, complete lack of water. They transition seamlessly, without a single blink, from the heavy, refracted light of the deep sea to the crisp, thin, cool air of the night. Gazing across the rolling, silver-tipped waves and up at the glowing moon with absolute crystalline clarity, bridging two entirely different universes with a single, sweeping, peaceful glance. The texture of this boundary between worlds, between the heavy, holding water and the open, airy sky, is beautifully mirrored in the most profound, delicate threshold of their very existence. When a new life is finally ready to emerge from the safe, warm, internal ocean of its mother, it must carefully cross into the vast external blue. In a beautiful, life-saving adaptation to their aquatic realm, dolphin calves are almost exclusively born tail first. If they were to emerge head first into the cold currents, as most terrestrial mammals do upon the dry earth, their powerful innate instinct to take a deep breath might cause them to tragically inhale the heavy salty sea before they were fully free. By arriving tail first into the quiet shadows, the very last part of their tiny, perfectly formed body to touch the open ocean is their tightly sealed blowhole. It is a brilliant biological choreography of absolute safety, ensuring that their first, vital, sparkling gasp of the sweet, cool air only happens when they are perfectly gently nudged to the shimmering surface by the loving, guiding, physical touch of their mother. Before this tiny, perfect calf ever breaks that glassy surface to take that first, magnificent breath, before its dark eyes ever adjust to the golden, warming light of the morning sun, it is already intimately, deeply, and profoundly familiar with the sound of pure love. In the quiet, heavy, floating months of gestation, the mother dolphin does not wait for the moment of birth to begin forging the unbreakable bonds of family. She will frequently, softly, and purposefully sing her own unique signature whistle into the surrounding echoing water. Because the acoustic density of the ocean perfectly, flawlessly matches the acoustic density of her own bodily tissues, these melodic, vibrating trills pass seamlessly through her flesh, wrapping the unborn calf in a continuous, gentle, vibrating symphony. The calf floats in the warm, absolute dark, its beautifully developing mind bathed continuously in the specific musical frequency of its mother's soul. It is a stunning, prenatal lullaby, ensuring that when they finally enter the vast, intimidating, and endless expanse of the ocean, the very first thing they recognize in the dark is the beautiful, comforting, anchoring song of home. And as this deep, resonant lullaby echoes softly in the quiet chambers of your own mind, your breathing finds a slower, much deeper rhythm, your shoulders sinking heavily and peacefully into the soft, supporting dark beneath you, feeling entirely safe, entirely held, and gently rocked by the quiet currents of the night. Echoing this total immersion in the heavy salty sea is a profound sensory simplification that takes place within the calf's very first days of life. The ocean is an environment of overwhelming, endless, omnipresent salt. Over millions of years of perfectly adapting to this blue world, the dolphin has beautifully, completely, and permanently let go of the complex tapestry of taste that terrestrial creatures so heavily rely upon. They have completely lost the genetic receptors for sweetness, for bitterness, for the sharp tang of sour, and the rich, earthy depth of umami. The only flavour that ever registers upon their smooth, pink, sensitive tongues is the pure, crystalline, unifying essence of salt. It is a total, beautiful sensory surrender to the element in which they gracefully live. They do not need to taste the subtle, varied complexities of the earth. They simply, peacefully consume the silver bounty of the deep, their entire inner world defined by the single, clean, ancient flavour of the vast, endless ocean. While their sense of taste is beautifully, elegantly simplified, the internal architecture of their resting mind is a masterpiece of profound, highly complex division. We know that they surrender to sleep with only one half of their magnificent brain at a time. But the physical structure that flawlessly allows this is a stunning anatomical marvel. In the human brain, a massive, incredibly thick bridge of nerve fibers called the corpus callosum constantly, rapidly shares millions of thoughts between the left and right hemispheres. In the dolphin, this connecting bridge is surprisingly, beautifully delicate, almost a quarter of the size you would naturally expect for such a massive, brilliant, highly social mind. This delicate, reduced connection means the two halves of their brain can operate with an astonishing, almost impossible degree of independence. The dreaming hemisphere is completely, peacefully, and structurally isolated from the waking half. A perfect, internal wall of silence that allows one side to surrender completely to the deep, heavy, restorative velvet of sleep, without ever once being disturbed by the necessary, watchful vigilance of the other. The quiet, steady, unwavering rhythm of this watchful, waking mind requires a constant, absolute flow of vital energy, even when the immense pressure of the abyss threatens to forcefully squeeze the very life from their veins. Deep within the heavy, muscular, protected vault of their chest, just above their massive, slow-beating heart, lies an extraordinary, entirely hidden structure known as the aortic bulb. This thick, beautifully elastic balloon of specialized tissue acts as a magnificent second quiet heart. When the primary heart forcefully contracts, sending a massive high-pressure surge of rich, dark, oxygenated blood into the arteries, the aortic bulb expands to gracefully catch and hold that intense sudden pressure. Then, while the main heart pauses to rest and completely refill, the elastic bulb smoothly, gently and rhythmically contracts, pushing a steady, continuous, beautifully unbroken flow of blood throughout their entire sleek body. It is a biological shock absorber of the highest order, a brilliant internal regulator that perfectly turns the violent, pulsing staccato rhythm of the heartbeat into a smooth, seamless, eternal river of life, carrying them flawlessly through the crushing depths. And as you feel the steady, smooth, completely unbroken rhythm of your own resting pulse, you sink even deeper, your muscles releasing their final stubborn grip, your body becoming as heavy, fluid, and perfectly relaxed as the gentle, endless, rolling tide. This seamless, eternal river of life flowing through their heavy veins powers a mechanism of movement that is utterly, perfectly distinct from the creatures of the land and the ancient fish of the sea. When a magnificent shark or a silver darting tuna swims through the blue, their spine moves in a rigid side-to-side motion, a violent horizontal thrashing that cuts through the water. But the dolphin, carrying the ancient, beautiful blueprint of a galloping, land-dwelling mammal, moves with a breathtaking vertical grace. Their spine undulates in a smooth, continuous flowing up and down wave. A beautiful, living, mathematical sine curve tracing its perfect way through the blue. To achieve this incredible, fluid, heavy power, their vertebrae are not rigidly, permanently interlocked. They are heavily cushioned by thick, flexible discs of cartilage, allowing their entire muscular back to arch and flex with the supple, liquid, stored strength of a drawn longbow. Every single, massive thrust of their broad, flat tail is a masterpiece of vertical leverage, turning the heavy, resisting water into a magnificent canvas for their smooth, sweeping, majestic flight. The magnificent, arching, heavy power of this vertical flight is displayed in its most breathtaking, acrobatic and purposeful form in the cool, nutrient-rich emerald waters of New Zealand. Here, the strikingly beautiful dusky dolphin turns the simple, joyful act of leaping into a complex, high-flying physical language. When a solitary, roaming scout locates a shimmering, dense, massive school of fish in the vast, open expanse, they do not simply whistle into the void. They use their immense, flexible, stored power to launch themselves violently, perfectly into the cool air, performing a series of massive, splashing, incredibly noisy leaps. But the specific angle of their body, the exact twist of their ascent, and the booming, thunderous sound of their heavy re-entry onto the surface is never random. It is a precise, coded, brilliant physical signal. The specific, heavy acoustic crash of their body against the water tells the distant, listening members of their pod exactly how large the bait ball is, how deep it is swimming, and the precise compass-like direction they must travel to join the feast. It is a stunning symphony of falling water, a vital language written entirely in the white spray and the heavy splash, echoing for miles across the silver rolling horizon. To perfectly, flawlessly decipher this symphony of falling water, echoing from miles away in the dark, the approaching pod relies on a sense of hearing that is a marvel of three-dimensional acoustic engineering. Because the dense, heavy water carries sound waves nearly 5 times faster than the open air, a terrestrial brain would be completely, hopelessly confused beneath the surface, entirely unable to tell where a sound originated. But the dolphin's auditory system is brilliantly, profoundly separated to handle this speed. Their delicate inner ears are completely isolated from the bones of their skull by a specialized layer of spongy, bubble-filled tissue, preventing the rapid, booming vibrations from simply shaking their entire head at once. This perfect evolutionary acoustic isolation means that a sound wave hits one hollow jawbone just a microscopic, almost immeasurable fraction of a millisecond before it hits the other. Their brilliant, heavily folded brains can instantly, flawlessly calculate this incredibly tiny delay, granting them true, perfect stereo binaural hearing in the ocean. They can pinpoint the exact three-dimensional coordinates of a splashing friend or a hiding silver fish with the absolute unerring precision of a laser, mapping the vast, dark world through the incredibly subtle, microscopic timing of a watery whisper. Guided perfectly, smoothly by this microscopic timing, the massive pod converges on the swirling, panicked silver mass of the bait ball. But they do not attack in a chaotic, competitive, blinding frenzy. They engage in a breathtaking, highly civilized display of patience and absolute, beautiful self-control, known to observers as carousel feeding. The pod forms a perfect, tight, rotating circle around the shimmering sphere of fish, their sleek silver bodies creating a living, spinning, inescapable wall. Instead of diving in all at once, which would instantly scatter their precious meal into the endless, uncatchable blue, they take polite, deliberate, perfect turns. One single dolphin will gracefully break the formation, slice directly, beautifully through the center of the spinning silver globe, snatch a single fish, and flawlessly, smoothly return to its exact place in the circling wall to help maintain the living trap. Then, the next dolphin takes its turn. It is a quiet, mesmerizing ballet of absolute cooperation, a stunning visual reminder that in the deep, highly intelligent communities of the ocean, patience, perfect order, and the beautiful sharing of the harvest always triumph over the thoughtless chaos of the wild. The beautiful sharing of the harvest fades into the ultimate, quiet truth of their existence, a truth that transcends biology and touches the very edge of the infinite. When we look at a dolphin, we see a single, beautiful creature, bound beautifully by the silver limits of its own smooth skin. But to the dolphin, the concept of self is not a solitary, isolated island floating in the dark. Because sound travels perfectly, instantly and seamlessly through their dense bodies and across the vast, heavy distances of the ocean, their minds exist in a state of continuous, overlapping connection. They experience profound, acoustic collective consciousness, a shared, beautiful mind. When a dolphin halfway across the Great Barrier Reef experiences the sudden, thrilling joy of a rushing, warm current, or the deep, peaceful comfort of a hidden, sandy cove, the acoustic vibration of that exact experience ripples outward and is physically, intimately felt by the entire extended pod. They do not just hear about the lives of their family, they literally, physically vibrate with them, sharing the very texture of the emotion. In the quietest, deepest moments of the night, when the ocean is as still as dark glass, the millions of overlapping clicks, whistles, and low-frequency hums weave together to form a single, massive, breathing intelligence, a living, vibrating net of memory and emotion that stretches seamlessly across the entire globe. The ocean itself becomes their collective dreaming brain. They are the fluid, silver thoughts of the sea, moving gracefully through the water, intimately aware of the shifting tides, the ancient heavy migration of the whales, and the slow, heavy turning of the earth. To be a dolphin is to know, with absolute unshakable certainty, that you are never, ever alone, that you are an integral, beautiful drop in a vast, infinite ocean of shared life, cradled eternally in a web of profound, universal connection. And as this ultimate, infinite truth settles completely, perfectly, into the deepest, quietest chambers of your own mind, you begin to feel that exact same boundless connection. The rigid boundaries of your own physical form begin to soften, to gently, beautifully blur into the quiet, heavy dark of your resting space. The weight of the long day, the complex, tangled thoughts of the waking world, they all simply dissolve, washed away entirely by the slow, rhythmic, eternal tide of the deep blue. You're floating now, perfectly suspended in a state of absolute unconditional peace. The water is carrying you, holding you, keeping you so incredibly safe. There is absolutely no need to think, no need to move, no need to hold on to anything at all. Just notice the gentle, heavy rise and fall of your chest, matching the slow, ancient, rhythmic breathing of the resting sea. The silver dolphins are gliding smoothly down into the beautiful velvety shadows of the abyss, their glowing silhouettes fading slowly into the comforting, enveloping dark, leaving only a trail of soft, luminescent peace in their gentle wake. Your mind is as still as the glass of a midnight lagoon. Your muscles are heavy, so wonderfully, perfectly heavy, sinking deeper and deeper into the soft, supporting embrace of your bed. You can feel the warmth spreading from your toes, up through your legs, relaxing your spine, softening your shoulders, releasing your jaw. The journey is complete. The ocean has shared its most beautiful, quiet secrets with you. And your subconscious has gathered every single one of them, folding them safely and permanently away into the soft, glowing archives of your dreams. You are safe. You are completely, beautifully relaxed. The water is perfectly still. The night is deep and quiet. The ancient stars are watching over the calm, glassy surface. And now, 101 wonders are resting with you. Sleep now. Good night.